This is lesson 4.4b, a continuation of yesterday when we began looking at invertebrate animals. Just a reminder, we have 5 kingdoms. We're looking at the animal kingdom, the other kingdoms being fungi, plant, monera, and protista. Um, just a reminder what makes an animal, what it is. Having cells that perform different functions. Not every animal has organs or organ systems, but their cells do things such as digest food, help with reproduction, and get rid of waste products that may harm the organism. The cells have organelles such as a nucleus, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes. They each perform different jobs such as controlling the cell, making energy, transporting nutrients and other molecules, and making proteins for us. Animals can't make their own food, they must ingest their food. They can ingest plants, animals, or in some cases both, just like humans. Animals digest their food also, so large particles are too big to take into our cells. When we ingest our food, we break them down into small molecules that are easy to be taken into cells and then used in different processes. Some molecules are used in growth and repair of our bodies, such as repairing skin, repairing any damage to muscles. Um, some molecules are used in chemical reactions, so on and so forth. We also looked at symmetry. There was bilateral symmetry, radial symmetry, and asymmetry. Bilateral symmetry is when we draw a line down the center of the organism and we see that both the right side and the left side are near mirror images of each other. Radial symmetry was found in circular shaped organisms where we can draw a line from different angles and have symmetry down the middle from multiple angles. Then there was asymmetry where the animal has an irregular shape and it does not matter where you draw a line, both sides will not be any sort of mirror image of each other. So the bilateral symmetry is the beetle here, the radial symmetry was the coral polyp, and the asymmetry was a sponge. The 2 groups that we're looking at over the course, starting from yesterday into next week, were the vertebrates and the invertebrates. The vertebrates have a backbone, invertebrates do not have a backbone. We are looking at different phyla of the animal kingdom. Yesterday we looked at Porifera, which were the sponges. We were looking at cnidarians, which included jellyfish and hydra. And then we were also looking at flatworms and roundworms. Today we are going to start off with mollusks. Mollusks include snails, mussels, and octopuses. They can live in aquatic environments, or they can also live on land environments as well. They usually have a soft, fleshy body without limbs. Some of them do have tentacles, though. Some have a shell, some don't. They usually have a mantle, which is a thin layer of tissue covering their soft body. Since they have a fleshy body, they need that extra protection. To help them move, they have something called a muscular foot. It helps them grab along the ground and move themselves from one place to another. Aquatic mollusks also have gills to help them breathe, so the gills are found between the mantle and the soft body. Remember, the mantle is the soft tissue covering. This helps them pull oxygen from the water and release carbon dioxide back into the water. So that would be something that we would find in the octopus. We also, in the case of land mollusks, such as snails, they have lungs for gas exchange. Their digestive system has 2 openings. They have a mouth and they have an anus to release the waste products after digestion. Some of them have something called a radula, which is a scratchy tongue-like organ that helps them scrape food off of surfaces. They have 2 types of circulatory system depending on the type of mollusk. Some mollusks have something called an open circulatory system. There's no blood vessels in their body. Since they don't have blood vessels, the blood just washes over the organs as they move. Some have a closed circulatory system, so in the case of a closed circulatory system, it's similar to our body. Not exactly the same, but They have blood vessels that carry blood around the body and carry nutrients and oxygen to the organs and cells and then remove the waste products. We looked at flatworms and roundworms yesterday. Today we're looking at segmented worms, things such as earthworms, leeches, and marine worms. The phylum is known as annelids. The bodies are made of segments that are repeating or rings, and these make them flexible when they move. Each of the segments has nerve cells to help them sense their environments, blood vessels, and parts of the digestive tract. They also have something called a column, which separates the internal body cavity from the outer body wall. They usually have a closed circulatory system, which means they have blood vessels running the length of their body to help carry nutrients and oxygen to the cells and carry away the waste products. They have different uses. So earthworms help increase soil fertility by eating soil and then releasing soil from the digestive tract along with undigested waste. The waste actually helps create more fertile soil. Previously, hundreds of years ago, doctors and other people in the medical field used to use leeches. They thought that if somebody had a disorder or was sick, that letting blood through leeches and allowing them to attach the skin would be helpful. We now know much better and do not use them for those reasons. We're next going to move on to arthropods. Arthropods are the largest and most diverse group of animals and probably pretty familiar to you already. They include insects, spiders, centipedes, and even crabs. And the reason being is their segmented bodies. So the word arthropod comes from Greek roots. The beginning of the word arthos means jointed, and pods mean foot. So each of these has jointed appendages, meaning things such as their legs, or their antennae, or even their claws on the crabs. They usually have bilateral symmetry. That means when you draw a line down the center of their body, the right and left side of their body will be near mirror images of each other, such as here with the spider. Each side has 4 legs and a similar shape to the abdomen. They have exoskeletons. So exoskeleton means the skeleton is on the outside. As they grow, they usually molt their skeleton every so often. This leaves them a little bit more susceptible to their predators, so they have to be extra careful when they are molting. But once they are done growing, they do reform their exoskeleton and build that all over again and are able to be better protected. They have open circulatory systems, so oxygen is brought directly, the blood washes over their organs, and then also their oxygen is brought directly to them through something called a spiracle, which has a pore-like respiratory opening in the body that oxygen and air are able to enter through. Arthropods also go through metamorphosis. There are 2 types of metamorphosis. There's complete metamorphosis and incomplete metamorphosis. Complete metamorphosis happens in 4 stages. There's the egg stage, the larva stage, the pupa stage, and the adult stage. And in complete metamorphosis, there are 3 stages: egg stage, nymph stage, and adult stage. In the case of metamorphosis, there's a complete change in the body form, and the adult stage does not look like the earliest stages of any of these organisms in the arthropod category or phyla. So in the case of the butterfly, that is complete metamorphosis because there's an egg. There is a larva stage called the caterpillar. There's a pupa stage in which the caterpillar wraps itself in a chrysalis where it matures, and after it matures, the butterfly as we know it is released and is quite different from its earliest stage because it has wings that are able to help it transport itself. In the case of incomplete metamorphosis, there's only the egg stage, such as here in the grasshopper, a nymph stage, which is an intermediate stage, and then the final adult stage at the end. So if I asked you for the honeybee what type of metamorphosis this is, you would say, well, hopefully you said complete metamorphosis, because for a honeybee there's an egg stage, the larva stage, the pupa stage where the larva matures, and then eventually has a very different looking adult stage where the honeybee has wings to help transport itself to different flowers to find food. Finally, we're going to look at echinoderms. Echinoderms are called sea stars. Many of you have probably called these starfish. It's not an accurate term seeing as they are not fish, so I will be referring to these as sea stars. There are many different varieties of them, but they do have some similarities such as radial symmetry. In any one of these, there's a circular shape to the body, and I would be able to draw a line in different directions, and there is symmetry throughout from different points. They have very spiny outer coverings, as you can see on a few of these examples. Some of the spiny coverings are a little smaller. They also have an internal skeleton made of bone-like plates. In many cases, the bone-like plates make regeneration possible. If you cut across them, they are able to grow back. We went over this when we went over asexual reproduction. They eat in a variety of different ways and ingest their food in different ways. Some are filter feeders, so water is able to filter through their bodies and they are able to capture food. Some are predators. They may attack things such as mussels, where they open the shells and digest the soft part of the mussel and ingest or absorb the nutrients. And some eat decaying matter, so any matter that's already dead, some of them are able to absorb the nutrients from them. They usually have a very simple nervous system, unlike many of the other invertebrates. However, they do lack a head or and brain. They also have a water vascular system, so they have a network of water-filled tubes and thousands of tube feet. So this water vascular system helps them move in the water. It's similar to having suction cups, so many of them are found on floors and rocks because they use the suction cup like structures to help move along from one place to another. That's the end of this part of the presentation. You'll have another Google form with questions posted for you today. If you have any questions, I will be in office hours at 1 p.m. Feel free to join. I will post the link right beforehand. Otherwise, tomorrow will be another makeup day because it will be Friday. And I will also have office hours then too for anyone who needs help making up work. Thank you. Have a very good day.